Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, it was Jen's birthday yesterday.
Yes, it was, and it was lovely. I took a nap.
Oh, fun. That's
hmm
good. Self-care.
hmm Yeah. First, I went and worked out. I did Soul Cycle, and then I went and did this new thing that I found. It's like sauna therapy.
Okay.
So you go and you have your own suite, and in the suite is a sauna, like a dry heat sauna,
Uh-huh.
a cold plunge pool, and then a vitamin C infused shower.
Wow, a fancy.
It was very fancy. So I like sat in the sauna for 40 minutes and when you're in a sauna at first, you're like, this is not a big deal.
Yeah,
Like this is going to be the easiest 40 minutes.
right.
And then your legs start to sweat and you're like, I am warm.
Did they give you guidelines on okay, do the sauna for this amount of time and then
Yeah.
okay.
So you're supposed to do the sauna for 40 minutes and then you take a vitamin C shower to get because the point is it's like releasing all of the like toxins.
Right.
Sweating is so good for you. Like that's why people should work out because it's like that's one of the only ways cortisol gets released from your body. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. No.
So anyways, you're in there for 40. Watch, that's not true.
Yeah. This is Jen and Megan's WebMD coming to you
Yeah.
live every Wednesday.
Yes, exactly. So you're in the sauna for 40 minutes. Then you rinse off. Then you cold plunge.
Oh,
And you're supposed to stay in 1 to 2 minutes. I made it a minute. But it's wild because and it was funny when I was checking in, she's like, have you ever done this? And I was like, no. And then she's like, okay, well, and I was like, oh, well, one time in Norway, I sat in a sauna and then jumped into a fjord. And she was like, so yeah, like you've done it the real way. And I was like, oh yeah, I have done this before. And then I came home and I showered, I came home and I went to bed. I took a nap, but I had an open house on Sunday. So part of the reason I took a nap yesterday on my actual birthday was because I spent all day Saturday cleaning, as one does when they have a party.
yes.
It's not your casual clean. It's like,
People are coming over here kind of clean. Yeah.
oh yeah, like you could eat off of our floorboards.
That's
Clean.
so nice though when it's done.
It really is.
And then
It
you have
is.
everybody come over and then it gets all messed up again and you're like,
Yeah.
whoa, that was dumb.
Or you have everybody over and you're like, sorry, it's such a mess. Sorry, I didn't have time to clean. But so my concept for my birthday was an open house.
Yep.
Everybody, as I'm sure you know, Megan did not come.
I really was considering it for a while, but it did not work out.
I had to say it. It's because it was in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the concept was like, hey, I'll be at my house from 10 to 8 p.m., 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Come whenever you want.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout the course of the day, we had about 30 people come over.
Yeah.
And just in case anybody tries this concept and you are wondering, like 60% of people still come at 3:00. So be prepared for 3:00.
Was it 10 a.m. and were you like nervously waiting to see if anybody would come? You know
Yeah.
how when you have a party, when you're hosting
Yeah.
and like the start time comes and you're like kind of looking out the window, like, are people actually gonna come?
Yeah, a little bit, like the first guest came at 10:30. So
Oh, that's not bad.
no,
Yeah.
yeah. And the front end and the back end, of course, were really lovely just because I had time to, like, there was a handful of people both times. So you could like actually
Right.
sit. But it's when you're hosting, it's just hard. Even I thought this would like alleviate the like not being able to talk to everybody thing. And
Yeah.
it's still, so this is relevant, when you have a wedding,
Yeah.
when you're the host, you just never get to spend as much time with people as you want. So,
No.
yeah.
Well, that's fun though. Yeah. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have 2 stories that I have to tell.
Okay.
So one is just embarrassing.
Great.
And I want to share. Okay. So I made a decision a couple weeks ago to get rid of my personal Instagram.
Okay.
And on my Facebook, I decided I didn't want to have friends. Like, I just don't want to have I don't want people to know what's going on in my life.
You don't want to have a personal online presence, but you still have your business Instagram.
Yes.
Okay.
So on Facebook, I unfriended everyone because I just was like, I just want this. I'm just using it for the groups I'm in. So
Right.
like the travel agent groups and the wedding planner groups so that I can like
FemCity.
exactly.
That's why I had to originally sign up for Facebook, because if
Yeah.
you're not familiar with Facebook, if you need to be a part of some sort of group, and you have to have a Facebook page.
Yeah.
So that's why I have to create it in FemCity. Yeah. Throwback to like our first episode.
Yeah. Oh my God, go listen to it. Fem City is a great story. So, anyways, I have no friends. So my account is
Great.
like, and I go in the other day to ask, I had to crowdsource something. And I see that the guy that I had a huge crush on for like most of college, Sean, I don't know if you remember that name.
No.
I must have asked him to be my friend like forever ago.
Okay.
And he accepted it. So like, could you imagine?
And you have 0 friends. Did you message him?
No, I just unfriended him. I was like,
You immediately unfriended him. That is hilarious. How long ago did you like ask him to be friends?
who knows? Because
Long enough ago that you've forgotten about it.
totally. And like, this is my second. So I had a Facebook account with like, 1.5 thousand friends.
Right.
Maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, I got rid of it because I'm like, I'm popular, but I do not need to have 1.5 thousand people, So I
Right.
just deleted that account completely. And we were friends there,
Sure. Okay.
And so when I started this other account maybe 2 years ago, just for business purposes, like I have no idea what it is. It's so
I
funny.
can't even imagine if the roles were reversed. Like what I would think. I'd be like, oh man, I dodged a bullet with that one.
Yeah.
0 friends.
Yeah, like she just made this account so she could follow me
Yeah,
on
exactly.
Instagram. So anywho, sorry, Sean, if you if you listen,
I'm sure he's a listener.
I'm over you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, are you ready for story number 2?
Yes, please.
And this I'm going to ask for our listeners to give me their advice.
Okay, great.
We'll see if they do. Do you remember? Well, I don't know how to start. Okay, so let's start with, remember when I went to the Privy Retreat in Switzerland?
Yes.
Well, I got invited to the fall retreat.
Okay.
And I'm going to go.
Great.
And it is in Prague.
Oh, it's where your lover is.
The puppet lover.
The puppet lover.
Lover.
What episode was that? Oh my God.
It's where I talk about the Christmas markets.
Oh yeah. Okay, go back and listen. If you want to provide feedback, go back and listen to that episode.
Yeah, it was like Jen in Munich and Prague. So listen to it, get the whole story. And then, so my roommate and I, Rachel, were chitty-chatting. And she was like, what are you going to do? Are you going to reach out to him? And I was like, no, I'm not going to reach out to him and tell him I'm coming to Prague.
Yeah.
But I think I might go eat at his restaurant.
Wait, is he a chef?
No, he's a server.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And just like see if he's working and be like spontaneously like, hey.
Oh, you live here? I forgot.
I mean, like, Jen, you're not fooling anybody. If you go there, it's not like you can play the, oh, I didn't know I would see you here.
Oh my God. This is where you work? I didn't know that. So I guess what do you, okay. Well, I don't really need anybody's opinion, but I do want people's opinion. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's how I operate.
Well, it's an opinion. Just because you get somebody's opinion doesn't mean you're going to take their opinion.
Yeah, because if I'm I want to keep this playful. Offline, I'll tell you how I really feel.
Oh boy.
But okay, so my question to listeners is, do I preemptively ping him on the old Facebook and be like, hey, I have no followers. It's just me. I'm coming to Prague again. Or do I just like casually show up at his restaurant and be like, I'm here again?
You should pack up that marionette, bring it with you, and leave it in a box and gift it back to him at the restaurant.
I took it to Goodwill.
Oh, okay. I'm like dying.
It's over. The puppet's all gone. The puppet is bringing pleasure to some person.
It's like haunting somebody's house
Yeah, I got rid
with
of
the
it.
ghosts of bad decisions.
Speaking of ghosts,
Oh, you have your fall decor.
yeah, it's a little ghost with a pink
Cute.
bow. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, so those are my stories. Good, right?
Those are good. Way better than anything I've been dealing with.
Well, you've been still doing weddings. You had your last wedding this past weekend. Congrats.
Thank you. I had my last wedding of the weekend.
And what did you do to celebrate?
I so we are so funny.
Yeah.
So on the day of the weddings, I usually go and I check in with my couple wherever they're getting ready. So if that's at a hotel, this was an Airbnb, check in with them, grab anything last minute that they haven't given to me. Just makes people feel better kind of seeing me. Usually they don't need me there for anything, but usually,
We're like emotional support
yeah, we're like the emotional support
people.
animals.
Hmm.
And then I
Yes.
go to the venue to help with setup while they're doing all their fun pictures and all that kind of stuff. Well, I went to the Airbnb and they really didn't seem to need me for anything. Like it was not even like
There was like a no Megan allowed sign on the door, and you were like, huh,
no, I
is this is that me? Or
I got along perfectly fine with these couple.
I'm just
They
kidding.
were lovely, but they I think it was like a lot to have a lot of people around and having one more person in the house like asking them questions and da 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 whatever. Like I clearly wasn't needed. I can read the
Right.
room. I can read the room,
Yeah.
people.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
left, and then that gave me a little bit of extra time for lunch because I really didn't need to be at the venue. So I went and had lunch. And while I grabbed my sandwich, I also ordered myself a watermelon mojito. So I had a little cocktail in the middle of the day before I went to my wedding, which is no big deal. It's not like I was drunk. I had one drink, but it
No.
was very funny because I sent a picture to Jen while it was happening.
Yeah. And she was like, don't post. And I was like, okay, I'll try not to for our 500 followers. We're up to like almost 600
Oh,
followers
that's
actually
good.
on the gram. Hmm.
Mhm.
And we got another clown face, vomit face comment.
Oh,
So
how
that's
fun.
great.
Another troll.
I,
What were they
yeah.
complaining about?
It was just emojis of vomiting and clowns.
Was it the same creeper?
I don't think so. I think this must be a common uh troll thing to just like vomit and call us clowns. I think it's hilarious and I
I
love
do.
it.
I really think it's funny. I'm in like a giggly mood today, so I need to
Me
rein it
too.
in.
Me too. I mean, we're talking about timelines today, which was so exciting. So of course we're like just super excited about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think again, just to go back to the whatchamacallits, the what are they called?
Vomits?
No, the
Clowns.
people who write
Trolls.
trolls, yeah. Again, it's like really, it's just funny. Like, and
Yeah.
even when we get to a point where they're like people who are like taking the time to write stuff, I'm like, I think that'll be fun
Yeah.
to be like when they actually write out like, you make me want to vomit. You are clowns, you know? I'll be like, thank you.
You have just helped our algorithm by commenting
Yes,
on this post. Thank you.
exactly. Exactly. So, anyways,
If everybody
um,
listening could post a picture or could post a clown emoji under our next Instagram post, that would be amazing.
just to like let us know you're
Yeah.
listening.
Uh-huh.
That would be great. So,
So
so,
timelines.
so, so post a clown emoji
Hmm.
and then write if you think I should
Oh yeah.
message before I get to Prague or just show up at the restaurant.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Yes. So timelines. So, Megan is the self-proclaimed queen of timelines, and I learned how to do timelines from her, so that makes me princess.
Oh, barf. More barf.
I'm a princess. Look at my little wand. So the queen and the princess of timelines today are going to walk you through how we put them together,
Hmm.
what we're thinking through
Yes.
while we're doing them. I think that's the best way to do it, right? Like,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
So I hate trying to put together timelines too early on. I know it's necessary to kind of estimate things. Um, Never mind, take that out. I don't wanna start with them. Cut.
Cut. Okay. So I think I know what Megan's gonna cut out of this, and then I'm
Start
gonna
over.
explain
Timelines.
timelines. Keep that in. That's hilarious. Um, yes, when you book with us, let's say a year out,
Mhm.
we are not going to put together our 12-page timeline that we have shown you on our, when we
Right.
do a consult, I always kind of show what a timeline looks like because it's insane. Like, for your data unfold naturally in front of you, there's usually like a 8 to 12 page timeline that's making that happen.
And I don't even share everything with my clients because they don't even need to know all the back end stuff, like that setup and stuff.
My clients have access to it just because we use a tool called Aisle Planner, so they can see it. But I always tell them that I'm going to put together versions, for their parents, for the wedding party,
Yeah.
for them that won't have what time the caterers are showing up at the venue
Yeah.
because nobody needs to know that except me.
I use Aisle Planner too, but I don't think anybody clicks into it and, like, looks hard enough to find all the back end. Like, you know how you
I
can
love
create
that.
multiple timelines and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that you use Aisle Planner too. That's great.
Mhm.
It's a great tool. But we don't like to do that right away.
Right.
Right away, though, one of the things we do need to do is just have a general idea of how timing is going to be, just because that helps us book our vendors
Mhm.
realistically. And mostly, I'm talking about photo and video.
Right.
So we will have we'll talk through with you just to have a general idea of kind of what you're thinking. For example, I have a couple next year that doesn't want to do wedding party photos where they go about the city and such.
Yep.
So that has an effect on how many hours we book the photographer.
Right.
But the hardy heart timelines get put together for me about 2 months out. When do you start to really?
Probably closer to well, we do our big meeting, like, 6 months out and after that.
Hmm.
So I think you and I kind of have the same structure where we do kind of that last big detail meeting with our clients, but I think
Hmm.
you do yours closer to 2 months out, and I try to get closer to 6 weeks. I like to have a little bit more of the
Oh,
RSVPs back.
yeah, you said 6 months.
Oh,
You meant
6
6 weeks.
weeks. Don't ask
Yeah.
me for a
Okay.
big timeline 6 months out.
Yeah, I was like, wow. Yeah. Yes. So we do the same thing. And that's when we're going to really start to put your timeline together. That's also when your vendors, I always say, like, we've talked about this quite a bit. Like, your vendors have a ton of weddings. I
Right,
mean, Megan and I have more, we have more limited number of weddings that we're doing, but your vendors are doing a lot.
right,
And so they're not going to start to give your wedding the attention we want them to until that 6 week out point
right.
anyways. So it's like that's when it makes sense to start.
And that shouldn't make you nervous. Like,
No.
nobody needs to know all the details of your wedding. Your vendors don't until much closer to your wedding. We've all done this many, many, many times before.
Yep.
No, nobody needs to know it that far out.
So if you are raw dogging your wedding without a planner, this is something to keep in mind. Like, if you don't want to be annoying to your vendors,
Mhm.
um, you don't need to figure out these details any earlier than 6 weeks out.
Right,
And I don't care how type A you are or how organized you are. Like, that's great. That's only going to make it easier for you, obviously, as you get closer. But needing to firm up your timeline 6 months out is a waste of time for you and your vendors.
right. They're not gonna be able to tell you most of the time. If I asked the florist what time they were gonna be on site 6 months out for a wedding, they'd be like, "I have no fucking idea."
Right. Unless it's a wedding where we're doing like insane decor and we know that we have to have like a
Right,
load in the day before.
right.
Obviously, that's different. But this is just kind of like if we're talking about a pretty standard
Yeah.
wedding.
So when you, the first thing that this is very obvious, but the first things that at least I start to build timelines off of is your ceremony and reception time. And sometimes, depending on the venue you book, or if you have a church or not a church, those times are set for you. So that makes it pretty easy to build off of that. Some venues, or if you're getting married in your backyard where you have more flexibility, you can. make some choices based on what time you want to start your ceremony. But as Jen and I have discussed in previous episodes, like, don't be ridiculous and start your wedding at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
No. And you're right. So when I'm starting a timeline, I actually start from the ceremony
Mm-hmm.
and work backwards and then go back to the ceremony and work
That's
forwards.
exactly what I do. Yep.
Yeah, so the ceremony is the main event
Yes.
and in the timeline.
Yep. Yep.
So, so yeah, so Megan and I do it the same way.
That just
It's
means it's
great.
the right way.
Exactly. So, okay, let's do that. Let's say we have a 5 o'clock ceremony.
Great, which is the perfect time to start.
I think so too. Right? Is it?
I
Did I?
don't,
What time did I say? Five
yeah.
o'clock. Oh, let's say 5:30.
Okay, either one.
5:30. This is a ceremony on site. Let's say.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Do we need to go through if we're doing a church?
No.
Okay, great.
That's why they need to hire somebody to help them.
Yeah, then hire a planner. So if you have a 5:30 ceremony, that means your guests will start to arrive at 5 o'clock.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That means you need to be tucked away.
Yep. That means that you need to be tucked away, I say anywhere between 30 to 40 minutes in my timelines of when I say, okay, at this point, photos need to be done. Bride or groom or bride. All right, how am I going to phrase this? Anybody who
The
wants,
couple needs to be
yeah, but
tucked
they
away.
don't, because the groom doesn't, a lot of times
Oh.
guys don't want to be tucked away. So,
I tuck away my grooms too because I want guests to come in and sit down. So,
okay.
and I don't think it's fair I mean, this is my thing. I don't think you both are tucked away.
Okay, so that's Jen's take on it.
Yep.
My take on it is whoever wants to be tucked away can be tucked away because you've seen each other at this point. But most of my weddings, the bride wants to be tucked away. The bride or brides want to be tucked away. If there's a guy involved in the wedding, he typically wants to be just out with his groomsmen, saying hi to people. He doesn't need to be stuffed in, a room if he doesn't want to be. It's all up to
Yeah.
them. I don't care.
Yes, I actually think it's like for me, I don't care about like I could give a shit if people see the bride's dress. I don't care about that. For me, it's efficiency. For
Mhm.
me, it's like get them tucked away so that 5 minutes before the ceremony, I'm not having to pull the groom or grooms away to then get 200 people to
Mhm.
sit down because they don't want to talk to you. People want to talk to the couple, surprisingly. I don't know why.
Surprisingly, yeah.
Anyways, our point is whoever wants to be tucked away needs to be done. It needs to be done 30 to 40 minutes ahead of time.
Yes.
So that means photos need to wrap at that point. Now, here is a question that you're going to want to talk to your photographer about, or this is something that Meg and I do, is you're going to create a list. So never go into your family formal day portion, never go into the family portrait portion of the day. Say that 5 times fast.
Family portrait portion.
Family portrait portion. Family portrait portion. Without a list.
Correct.
This needs to be done. And it needs to be annoyingly done. Where it's like bride and groom, mom and dad. Bride and groom, mom and dad, sister, brother.
Right.
Like it is obnoxious and it needs to be done. And it needs to be shared with your photographer.
Yes.
So that they can say, I'm going to need 30 minutes to do those.
Right.
Or I'm going to need 40 minutes, whatever.
Right. I always have my couples start that list months in advance because I'm like, you need to talk to your family about this to make sure that you get all the photos they want. Like this list needs to be in the photographer's hands a couple weeks in advance so that they can look at it and come back and tell me, hey, we need more time in the timeline or this is good or whatever. Because what Jen and I are talking about are those more posed, like formal photos that a lot of times get put up on walls and stuff. This isn't like, oh, we're going around town, with the bridal party. This is more immediate family.
Right. And how I do it, everybody might be a little bit different, but I don't want your entire extended family showing up an hour and a half before the ceremony starts.
No.
So how I do it is we do immediate family portraits before the ceremony.
Yes.
And then we do those 4 large group photos after.
Yep.
I always say it needs to be limited to 3 to 4 photos so we can get each 2 sides of each family. And those usually happen after the ceremony.
Yeah.
And I still ask the photographer, of course, like, how long is this going to take? Because most of the time we're doing a room flip.
Mhm.
And so um, this will be interesting because I'm guessing we might do this differently because I do it differently than a lot of people. But I now just do an hour and a half cocktail hour, so that we have an hour and a half for the flip, just because usually it takes 20 to 30 minutes still to gather those large groups and take those photos
Mhm.
and get everybody out, and then we're not stressed. Like, then the vendors still have a full hour to do the flip.
Yeah.
But again, send that list to your photographer, ask them how much time they need realistically
Mhm.
before the ceremony and after, and then put that into your timeline.
And when your photographer comes back and says they need 45 minutes for these photos, please believe them, because what's going to happen is, so these photos for me always get taken on site, wherever the ceremony is. This is, you're
Same.
arriving at your venue in enough time to knock out these photos. So a lot of times what I do is, if there's any sort of transportation involved for the bridal party, I have the transportation drop off the bride. And again, this is Milwaukee, where we can zip all around town and it's very easy, as opposed to Chicago. So luxury here, but drop off the wedding party, and you guys can bring your stuff in, get situated, take any photos just with the wedding party in the ceremony site. And while that is happening, that bus can zip back to the hotel, pick up parents, VIPs, immediate family who's coming over for pictures, and get them into the space so that we can knock out the immediate family photos before the couple wants to be tucked away. So that usually works out pretty well if you are in a close proximity, if everybody's in a close proximity to each other. But remember, the bus is going to drop you off. It's going to take 5 to 10 minutes for you guys to all walk in and put your stuff down, and somebody's going to need to go to the bathroom, and then you want to touch up your makeup, and then da 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 da. Nothing happens instantaneously. So when we are putting in extra time in the timeline, it's because I don't want all of a sudden it to be 30 to 40 minutes before your ceremony, and I have to come up to you and the photographer and say, we got to be done. And the photographer's looking at me saying, oh, we still have, 5 more photos to do. Well,
Tough shit.
yeah, now you have to make a decision, because this couple told me they wanted to get tucked away and nobody to see them. And now we've got guests downstairs. So
Mhm.
you have to allocate enough time for this. I don't know if it's like white noise stuff or whatever you want to call it, but it's
Mhm.
beyond just, oh, it's only going to take 30 minutes to take these pictures. Well, sure, once everybody's in the room and the
Yeah.
photographer is standing there with the list, but there's a whole bunch of other stuff going on that takes time too.
Totally. And I will say just a general like timeline. Like, I always tell my couples, like, your timeline is padded. Everything's padded,
Mhm.
because I don't care how many weddings I've done. Like, I can't predict everything that could possibly happen.
Right.
And one of the examples that I give is like, or I'll say, like, your day is going to go by faster than you want it to anyways.
Mhm.
Like, period. It goes by very fast. What makes it feel faster is if we're rushing.
Right.
If you feel like you're being rushed from one point to the next to the next to the next, all that does is make you not be able to enjoy, like, to sit and be present,
Mhm.
but it's going to make the day fly.
Mhm.
So and to Megan's point, well, Chicago is harder to get around. So
Yeah.
I always say too, like, a bus, a 40 passenger bus, it might take 3 traffic lights to turn right,
Mhm.
depending on how busy downtown is, So
Yeah.
that's another thing where it's like, it's not just the two of you hopping in a car
Right.
in your street clothes, bopping around the
Right.
city. You're in I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot more than that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we have the transportation get you
Yep.
to the hotel, or sorry, we have the transportation get you to the ceremony reception spot
Mhm.
with enough time to use the potty,
Mhm.
freshen up, to do these photos. Moving backwards from that, we are scheduling time for photos.
Yep.
Like, that's with your wedding party, and that's typically out and about.
Right. Mhm.
Usually in my timelines, I only have an hour to an hour and 15 minutes to allocate towards that. You might do the same. And in Megan's case, I'll let you speak for yourself, but like you could probably hit 3 locations in an hour and 15
Right.
minutes. In my case in Chicago, maybe 2.
Mhm.
So that's something you need to keep in mind as well. And is it would you say that's correct?
Yeah, I always do between an hour to an hour 15, hour and a half. I ask the couples ahead of time, how many locations are you thinking? You know, if a couple comes back to me and says, "Oh, we're going to be getting ready downtown, but we really want to go up to Doctor's Park in Whitefish Bay for some photos, or we want to go over to the Pfizer Forum and get
Mhm.
some pictures over there, and I know there's an event going on," that can factor in more time. So I kind of take that all
Mhm.
into account, but you're right, we can hit if we're only doing an hour, we can still probably hit 2 places as long as they're nearby, but, again, that can all change on the wedding day too, so you have to be flexible. Um, you have to understand that if you do not have a very well-behaved bridal party and they're not listening to the photographer, it might not be as efficient as you want it to be if
Mhm.
people are more excited to be on the bus, having a beer as opposed to getting off and taking pictures. Things can take longer, so know your group and set your expectations accordingly.
Totally. And I think I just have gotten a lot more strict about this. So a lot of times I just will present to the couple, like, here's the timeline, here's how much time we have for photos.
Mhm.
And that means 2 spots. And we're going to decide together where they're at.
Mhm.
If they're like, oh, we really also, if we have time, to your point, like, can we hit this third spot? Sure. But I also limit where they can go. Like, we're not going out of our way to do photos.
Jen's a stickler.
I am.
I'm a little more loosey goosey.
Yeah. I am because typically we're picking hotels that are conveniently located. There's plenty of options in the city
Right.
to hit, like, if you want park, if you want city, if you want river,
Mhm.
that we don't need to drive up, to Lincoln Park that I know is going to be a zoo.
Right.
Like, haha, it is a zoo. So like literally and figuratively. Um, I mean, if they fight me on it, that's like I'm not going to say no. It's not a hill I'll die on. But then I just let them know, like, that's literally the only place you can go,
Mhm.
just so you know,
Yeah.
you know? Um, so yeah, so that's where it sounds like we're about the same. We'll like work backwards about an hour and 15 minutes for that.
Yeah. And you're leaving the hotel or wherever you're getting ready now from there. So remember, we're working backwards.
Yeah. Now this is interesting because what kicks off the departure of these photos around town for me is the first look at the location, typically where
Yes.
the bride, if there's a bride, where the bride is getting ready or where the couple is getting ready.
Yep.
So if it's at the Gwen Hotel, we book one of the beautiful suites and with a terrace, and it's like the first look is at this time. That's when we're getting the wedding party downstairs onto the shuttle.
I was going to say that's happening simultaneously. The wedding party
It
doesn't
is
need to be milling around. It's a private thing. They can take everything, put it on the bus.
correct. So they're doing that while you're doing that first look.
Mhm.
I ask, I know Megan does this too. I always ask every photographer. I mean, I could have worked with this photographer like 90 times, but I still always present my timeline. I'm like, are you good with 20 minutes for first look? Or how much do you want for first look?
Right.
And I usually do schedule 20 minutes. That's what I would say the average is
Yeah.
for that first look.
I think it's a professional courtesy, and that's just the type of planners we are. We're not coming in, creating a timeline, and just handing it out to vendors and saying, okay, here it is. You have to follow this, whether you think it's going to work for you or not.
Yep,
We create timelines, present it to the vendors, and ask for feedback. And if they come back and say, it would really help me out if I had an extra 10 minutes here or here, let's try to get that figured out before the wedding day so that the day can flow more smoothly.
absolutely. So we get that signed off. And again, when you're thinking about a first look, I'm sure in your head it's like it'll take like 2 minutes. Like, no, it won't.
Right.
Like, we have to set up, one person so they can't see and hide the other person and then bring the other person in.
Right.
And then they do want to do a few photos once you have had your moment
Right.
of seeing each other. They want to do a few photos of you together. So it just takes longer than you think.
Yep. It takes longer than you think. Now, working backwards from that, what I've seen in the last probably 2 years are first looks with every person possible that people can imagine. So
Oh,
we've got first looks with dads, first looks with bridal parties, first looks with, I don't know, pets. Who knows at this point? But
oh yeah.
I'm not saying don't do it. If that's something you want to do, go right ahead. But you have to slot in time for each of those moments because it is going to take longer than just snapping a picture. If you're doing a first look with your dad, that means, is dad going to be ready? We might have to find dad and bring him up because dads wander.
Yeah. And
Dads
they
wander.
don't ever have pants on. You know,
Right.
it's like, oh, you're her dad's putting on his pants. I'm
Yeah.
like, he was supposed to put his pants on a half hour ago.
Right. What was he wearing before he had the pants? Like, okay, but it's going to take longer than 2 minutes. We're scheduling, 10 minutes or so for each of these different situations. And then backwards from that, Jen, how long do you typically have in there for just putting on getting dressed for the bride or brides to be getting dressed?
So I have it an hour. So like let's say
Whoa.
so if I have the first look at 1:45,
Mm-hmm.
I have the if it's if we have a bride,
Yeah.
I have the bride starting to get dressed an hour before that. And that's a buffer.
Mm-hmm.
So that if 1:45 is the first look and on the timeline it says 12:45, that is a buffer in case hair and makeup goes 15 to 20 minutes over or
Yeah.
whatever happens. But the last thing I want is because also we've had some wardrobe malfunctions, which
Mm.
I've talked about,
Mm-hmm.
that have scarred me.
Yeah.
So if I have to sew buttons on, I'd rather have an hour or at least know I have time to get the lipstick out of her dress or
Sure.
sew the button on her dress or quickly re-steam her dress, whatever. That is a buffer.
So we're quite different in that regard. I usually give 20 minutes max of 30.
Oof. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think that a couple different reasons. Any longer, the photographers up here typically will tell me we do not need that long. Fine.
Mhm.
Um, my couples, while they do have more money to spend on average for their weddings, we're in Wisconsin and people are conscious of budgets. And the longer that you put for some of these things to happen, like if I put an hour in to get the dress on, that's an extra 30 minutes they're paying for their photographer. Everything adds time. And they question that. They don't necessarily want to pay for that extra time if they don't think they really need it. And
Mhm.
fine. Um, and I have not been scarred. So this has all worked out fine. And then lastly, most of the time, and I don't want to jinx it, I build in enough time for hair and makeup that we're usually running early.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so if I had an hour to put a dress on, I think that a lot of people would be sitting around with nothing to do. And that's kind of nerve wracking sometimes.
Well, and see, I always book everything too. So it's like if we're ahead of schedule, we're on that bus earlier.
Sure.
So then we're hitting a third location.
Yeah.
So I would never have anybody sitting
Yep.
around. Like if we're ahead of schedule, then we're just maximizing that time for photos. But yeah, see, and then my timeline too. So working back from that, I put the absolute for hair and makeup when I say a 12:30 wrap, that is like that is the absolute latest.
Yeah.
Um, but if it goes till 1, that's okay
Hmm.
because a lot of my brides do not want to start hair and makeup a tick earlier than they have to. Like that's more important to them.
Hmm.
So if they saw like a 7 a.m. start time, they would be like, no. So it's like again, that hour is just padded so
Yeah.
that if anything runs a little bit longer, people are whatever.
Yeah.
So and I do, to your point, like I tell all my couples to be prepared for a 9 to 10 hour photo day.
Hmm.
So because I like to have the breathing room, I like to have the buffer.
I'd say we're usually 9. That's just kind of how it shakes out. So anyway, you're factoring all these things in, and one of the last okay, so, you have a start time for when you're gonna start getting dressed, and then I always have a little bit of a buffer between the bride or bride's getting dressed and when the hair and makeup ends, because in between those times, that's going to be when everybody wants to go to the bathroom again. You're going to need time built in for your wedding party who's getting ready with you to maybe go back to their rooms or where they're going to
Mhm.
change and put their stuff on, because moms and anybody who's going to be helping the bride or brides get dressed are going to need to be ready before any brides start to get into their dresses too.
Well, it's interesting too because I'm like I'm sure our timelines are exactly the
Yeah.
same. Like I mean I'm sure everything is exactly the same. I just put a different time for the bride to get dressed.
Yeah, which is fine. I think we're just kind of guiding people on what to think about, because
Well,
you
right,
wouldn't even think about some of this stuff.
right.
And then your photographer is going to want to start in usually an hour before any brides get into their dresses,
Hmm.
because you see all those photos online of the dresses hanging in the window. And oh my gosh, are your florists getting so sick of the flat lays?
Yes.
The flat lays need to be done.
So does hanging the dress in the window, to be
I know.
quite honest. Like you are never going to use that photo for anything. And the dress looks so bad. Sorry.
I mean, the only thing that I'll defend about taking pictures of a wedding dress is that that dress may have cost thousands of dollars and you might want a photo of it.
But still, are you not you're on my team. You know it's silly though cuz
Oh, I know it's silly. Nobody's putting a portrait of that up in their
no.
house. No.
No.
I know it's silly. I don't know how this stuff, when did it start? Like, I
I
can't
don't
even
know.
think in my head. It wasn't happening when we were first started.
No, there's a lot of things that I have chilled out about like cuz like sometimes you just like do something and you're like why are we doing this?
Yeah.
And also my couples are increasingly chill
Yeah.
and don't they're like we
Yeah.
just want we want people captured. We want
Right.
emotion and people and
Not
we
a
don't get
photo of your kids with some flower petals scattered
no.
next to them. We're
It's
not
so
knocking any
bad.
photographers. You have to do it. I mean, that's just like what is expected now. And
No, and also, yeah, we're controversial.
we're
We
controversial.
are knocking photographers. You guys are dumb. Just kidding. We're not at all. Watch on my wedding in a couple weeks. The bride will be like, "Can we get some pictures of my kids
Yeah.
with flower petals?" And I'll be like, "Oh, Anna, I just made fun of you on the podcast, but sure."
Yeah. And but like when hair and makeup ends, that's
Yes.
the last thing that I put into the timeline where like, then what I do, if you're doing this yourself, you have to talk to your hair and makeup team directly and say, at least for me, I'm not dictating start time. I'm telling them this is what time you have to be done. They know how many people are getting ready, how many stylists we have hired. Based on this, let's work backwards. What is your start time? And if they give me a too early start time, then we talk about, can we add another stylist onto the team so that we can start later? But I'm not going in and saying, you need to be done at this time with hair and makeup. You need to start at this time, figure it out.
Correct. So I also go back to the hair and makeup team. I will say it's a little bit trickier if you have decided to hire two separate teams. So if you like want a makeup artist who doesn't do hair or whatever, so now you have a hair and makeup, make sure you're communicating with both of them.
Hmm.
And like if you don't have a planner, that is an email with both of them. You introduce them. You
Yeah.
say, "Hey, this is what time we want to be done," or a photographer, blah. Can you put a schedule together? And then they can work together to do that. Um, which is a little piece of advice, is when you are asking for that schedule to be put together, whoever you think is going to be late, even though we're telling all of anybody getting makeup on a wedding day needs to show up at the location getting ready at the same time. I don't
Yep.
care if they don't go till 11. If everyone's meeting at 8 a.m., we just tell everyone to get there at 8 a.m. We do not.
Yep.
I tell my brides or grooms who have hair and makeup, do not share this with the wedding party, the schedule, the hair and makeup
Mm-hmm.
schedule. Just tell them they have to be here at 8.
Mm-hmm.
But when you are talking to the hair and makeup team, you can be like, Betty is always late. Put her towards the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just so that you're not stressing when Betty's late and she's
Mhm.
not in that first time slot. So, anyways, That's just a little tidbit there.
Okay.
But and then I think just what I do is if hair and makeup is starting at 8 o'clock, I tell everybody to be there at 8 o'clock or
Right.
like 7:50 or whatever it is. Um, so there's that. If for groomsmen, for people with the groom getting ready, I usually just if I'm having them starting to get dressed at like 12:45, I have them meet around 11:30, feed them, let them hang out for a little while, and then they can get dressed.
Yeah, the guys are a lot easier. I usually put the timeline together, share it with the photographer, and pretty much say, like, okay, based on all of this and when you're going to come, what time do you need these guys to be available for photos? And that means like pants on, dads.
Yeah, exactly. We're looking at you, Dad.
Yeah. Pants on all together so that the photographer, whoever it may be, can you feel comfortable with somebody coming into the room and taking pictures and you're not half naked and
Right,
whatever. Like
right.
that's all I need from you.
So that's the first part of the day. The
Yes.
second part of the day is much easier, I think, timeline wise.
Mhm.
So now we're 5:30 ceremony, ends at 6.
Mhm.
We're cocktails start at 6.
Mhm.
We're moving guests out. We're given about 15, 20 minutes or whatever the photographer says for these 4 large family photos.
Yep.
The flip is an hour, hour and a half,
Mhm.
whatever you decide is best with your design decor team, your caterer.
I was going to say, ask your
Hmm.
vendors. Don't say it's an hour. And if somebody tells you they need more time, argue with them and tell them they have to get it done in an
Yeah.
hour because what will happen is it just won't happen.
Correct. Correct. That's the
Like,
thing
it's
that
not
drives me
like,
crazy.
oh, you wanted it an hour and I said it's going to take an hour and 15 minutes. Sure.
Yeah.
We'll just magically do it in an hour. No, then they're just, if they tell you sure, it's still going to take an hour and 15 minutes and you're just going to
Yes.
be running behind on the day of the wedding.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Like, whenever somebody argues me on the timeline, which doesn't happen really ever
Yeah.
anymore, but I'm like, okay, like, then you're going to go over.
Right. Like, it's
So,
still gonna be what I'm telling you, it's just not gonna match up with what I'm writing on this piece of paper, but whatever makes you sleep at night,
yeah,
sure.
exactly. Whatever it makes you feel like you have control over
Yeah.
an uncontrollable thing. But things that you are keeping in mind is if you want to be a part of your cocktail hour, which I highly recommend,
Mhm.
we still tuck you away for a few minutes. We've talked about this because we eat your leftover apps. So we tuck you in a room so you can eat some food, have a drink, have a minute, bustle
Yep.
dresses, change shoes, whatever the hell you want to do.
Yep.
Consummate the marriage.
Ew.
Well, we had somebody ask us
Yeah.
at the where were we?
We had a listener
Yeah.
question, a legit question
Yes.
asking, "If you were going to consummate the marriage, what would be the
A-
best time in your wedding day timeline to do that?"
We're like, whenever, I guess. I don't know. Um, so anyways, yeah, so that takes some time. That's time. And then
Yep.
however long that takes, that's just taking away from you being at your cocktail hour. And
Yes.
again, once we get you to your cocktail hour, you're going to want to stay there for more than 20 minutes. So that's why,
Right.
again, I just started doing hour and a half cocktails so that whatever.
And they're probably a lot of times the couple wants to come into the room early to see the room before guests come in.
Yes,
So that cuts into cocktail hour too,
it does.
their cocktail hour time.
Right. So, I'm, yeah, again, it's just all these things that you want to make sure you have time for and you feel like you're experiencing
Mhm.
your event.
It's so funny because now that we're talking about like into dinner service, to me, the timeline is so much more relaxed because I essentially like just need to know who you want to do toast, if you want to do a grand march, if we're going to cut the cake. And there are certain like spots to like slot that all in. But the reality of it is like all that stuff, we can estimate how long it's going to take, but it's like minute down to the minute. Like we have no idea. I don't know really how long your cousin Sam, who's your best man, is going to talk for. So
Mhm.
like these are all estimates at this
I
point.
think it becomes more of a flow.
Yes, it's
is what
definitely more of a
yeah.
flow, and you can tell an inexperienced vendor when they come up to you at the reception and they're like, "I just wanna go over the timeline, so just so that I have this straight, the cake cutting is going to start at exactly 6:45." And I'm like, "No, the cake cutting will be immediately after the grand march." I don't know what time that's gonna be, it's gonna depend on how long it takes everybody to get organized and the DJ to talk to them and them to come into the room. But immediately
Mhm.
following that is gonna be the cake cutting. I don't give a damn what time it says on the clock.
Totally. So it becomes a flow, it becomes a dance. This is when I think the planner is really like the orchestrate, like the
Yeah.
orchestrator, the conductor. And we're communicating with the band DJ and the kitchen
Mhm.
and your cousin Charlie who's giving a
Right.
toast and all this kind of stuff. So it is just a flow. We're reading the room, we're making sure things flow smoothly. The number one thing that will cause that to go off track is toast.
Yes,
And that is out of our control.
it is.
So, yeah. So when I tell my couples, like, please, like, do more toast at the rehearsal dinner, let's keep the toast to the minimum number of people on your wedding day. I mean that because I want you to enjoy your dance floor. I want you to make sure your photographer gets coverage and we're not paying to keep them longer because your dad spoke for 40 minutes.
Right.
And I'm not being funny. That
Right.
has happened
Because 'Cause
to
we've
me.
seen it. Yeah.
Mhm. So keep that in mind.
Right.
The number one thing that will throw your reception off track is toast.
Mhm.
So that's also when food gets cold, and I mean, it just
Yeah.
yeah.
I've started putting like, I try to also say, like, minimal amount of toast. Like, I understand a parent or different sets of parents might wanna give a toast, fine. I understand that the couple probably is gonna wanna say thank you, fine.
Hmm.
I understand that it's customary for one,
Yes.
person from each side of the wedding party to give a toast. That's all fine.
Hmm.
But I am trying to put more of those toasts after dinner, like after the hot food gets out because I can't trust anybody anymore.
Same.
Like I'm fine with like mom and dad, whoever giving a welcome toast to like kick things off. And then everything else can go after the hot food goes out because you're a wild card. Everybody's a wild
I
card.
do the
Yeah.
exact same thing. So,
Yeah.
um, parent welcome toast, or if
Mhm.
there's two, like if one
Right.
from each
Whatever.
family, that's fine.
Yeah.
Then we do first course, we clear, we do entrees, and then we go. Then
Yeah.
then that's when you see, maid of honor, best man, one from each side,
Yeah.
whatever. And then the couple toast, I have them do it right before we kick off dancing, like or sometimes people that want to do their first dance when they get introed into the room, that's fine. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
their thank you toast is what I like. I'm like, we're concluding dinner,
Yeah.
and now we're moving into dancing.
Right.
Um, but I do the same thing, and it just works really nicely. Hmm.
Yeah, it helps the kitchen because then they know that there's nothing in between that salad course and the entree course,
Hmm.
and they have the timing down of when they need to fire your entrees. And so if they know, okay, right now is when we're serving salads,
Hmm.
they know their flow and how long it's going to take them to serve and eat and clear
Hmm.
so that they know when they can fire entrees. If we're trying to stick toast in the middle of there, it's
Right.
a complete guessing game.
I agree, and I will sometimes get pushback on that, to this day. Like, well, but so and so is going to be really nervous, and I don't want them having to wait that long to. Well, then you know what? Then they'll go before salads. Like,
Right.
I really try to stick to not putting anything in between the courses
Yeah.
because it just disturbs the flow.
Yeah. And I'm going to throw something in here for vendors too. I know we've talked about how vendors eating, there's a controversial thing, but I do agree that vendors should get to eat
Yes,
hot food.
same.
And if your caterer is insistent that the vendors get served their hot food after all of the other guests, you are going to have to wait 10 minutes after they get their food to allow them to eat before we queue up the next toast.
Hmm.
If we can convince your caterer to serve that vendor table
Hmm.
after the head table, after the parents towards the beginning, maybe by the time the last hot food drops, we can queue up toast right away. But you are going to have to allow your vendors time to eat.
Yeah. So I saw a post. One of my friends posted. She's a photographer, and she posted this. She screenshot a DM that she got, and it was a caterer asking for photos. It was like, "Oh, that wedding was so beautiful," blah blah blah, and it was then her response where she was like, "No, I will not be sharing the photos with you because when you did feed us, like an hour after the dance floor opened, it was like half of a ham sandwich, like fry
Ew,
festival
gross.
style."
Fire festival style.
Fire, yeah, yeah,
Fry
yeah.
festival.
I mean, the caterers I
Yeah.
work with take good care of us, and we don't have to worry about when we eat. We get fed when we need to, but it is
Yeah.
like, yeah, you're not getting photos. You didn't feed us, and anyways, yeah. So yeah, so then I think that's kind of it. Once the dance floor opens, that's it. Like,
Yeah.
it's like then there's really we have transportation maybe sometimes like going back and forth. That is something I do timeline.
Yep.
And that's important to bring up because I make sure that if we are providing transportation, especially for guests, like if we're doing it for the whole wedding,
Mhm.
that's on the wedding website. And
Mhm.
and the reason I time it is so it's just everyone knows 9, 10, 11,
Yeah.
midnight. Like there's no other shuttles. If you want to be on one, it leaves on the hour. That's easy for everyone to know and to pass around.
I think we should do an episode about wedding websites. I'm also starting to hate wedding websites because uh, I'm going to say something that people may or may not believe. But if you have a wedding website, even if you spend 20 hours on this website, and even if you put the URL on your save the date and your invite, even if your RSVPs need to go through that wedding website, many, many people are not going to look at it. Nobody cares
Mm-hmm.
about who the members of your bridal party are, except maybe the
Mm-hmm.
members of your bridal party who want to see what you said about them.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have any crucial information that you are only putting on this wedding website, I don't know, just be prepared that some people might not see it. I don't think as many people go to the wedding website anymore. I think people are over it.
So then, oh yeah, let's do an episode on it because now I just want to be like, oh God, okay.
You think people go to the wedding website all the time?
No, I just think that wedding guests are annoying, and I think that annoys me. You know, because there is important. You're right.
Yeah,
You are right. But there's very important information that they want to know on the wedding website.
I guess, but that used to be included in the invitation.
I know, but people don't look at invitations.
People don't look at wedding websites.
Let's just do an episode of like why wedding guests are the most annoying people.
I think the wedding website one might be something that we disagree because I also hate wedding websites. So, all right, off track.
Ugh.
Uh,
Okay. But anyways,
yep,
schedule your guest transportation end of night
yep.
so it's not willy-nilly.
Hmm.
And I think that's it, right?
Yeah, it's like late night food. What time it's over? Yeah.
Maybe the
Hmm.
last thing if you don't have a wedding planner, oh God, I can't imagine, but loadout time. So just making sure your vendors at some point have the venue contact and they can do that
Yeah.
themselves or that you're communicating to the vendors. I would love to know what planning a wedding as a non-wedding, like just as a bride without a wedding planner, like how horrible that must be.
Well, I think there's two different types of people. There's going to be the type of person that's like mansplaining the wedding to wedding planners, where it's like you've got vendors who work in your venue all the time and you're trying to explain to them like how the loadout works, where it's like, no, they've done
Yeah.
this like
Yep.
literally 20,000 times before. Like they've
Mm-hmm.
done it the night before. You don't need to go into so much detail. It'll be
Mm-hmm.
fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's other people who probably like completely disconnect and don't share any information.
Yeah. Interesting.
Hmm.
Anyways, but
Yeah.
that's just the last thing that I have in my timeline
Yeah.
is what time all vendors need to be out of the space.
Hmm. Hmm.
So there you go.
So there you go. It's that easy. We talked for an hour. It's that easy.
It's that easy. And even though I've been doing timelines for 14 years, I still spend that much time putting one together. Like it's every day is a little different. Like
Hmm.
I don't cookie cutter it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I still send it to vendors, even if I work with them all the time, and ask them, does this work for you? It's like I said, it's just better to have all the input in there.
And
Mhm.
after this, I have a no shit, have a phone call with my October 4th couple to go through their timeline one last time before it goes out
Oh,
to all their wedding party and
fun.
family. Yeah.
I have a call with somebody who's considering eloping.
Oh,
Mhm.
sandals?
Yeah, isn't that fun?
That is fun. Yeah, keep me posted.
I will.
All right. Well, I'm off to France on Friday.
Yay.
Yeah, so the next couple of times we're recording, I think I'll be oot and a boot. But we'll have some travel episodes coming up again.
Yes.
Yeah. So, anyways,
Mhm.
it's
All
all
right.
right. I'll see you next week.
See you next week, Jen. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Thanks so much for joining us again this week. If you have a wedding or travel related story of your own that you would like us to share in a future episode, send us an email to theplannerspassport@gmail.com.
And be sure to follow us on Instagram at The Planner's Passport and follow all of our travel and wedding businesses, including We Roam Solo, Dare to Dream Travel, and Dare to Dream Weddings. And please, if you enjoy our show, remember to rate, review, and subscribe from wherever you are listening to this podcast.